Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Flix and Giggles show. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another film review. The film review, woo!
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Let's get into it, Joe. We are talking about The Great Flood. This is available on Netflix. IMDb is giving this a 5.4 for obvious reasons, but
I think that's usually these I disagree with the rating, but this one that's fair.
I kind of disagree with this rating because I think it should be lower.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, true. You can't argue with that, true.
Dude, let
Uh
me ask you this here.
yeah, yeah.
In the last year, or even 2 years, what was the
Mhm.
most annoying flick you've seen in the last 2 years?
Oh, I gotta think
Because
about that, man.
yeah, because keep in mind, if it's not something we're reviewing and you start watching and it's annoying, you're just gonna put it down. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I just stop it. Like if it's something garbage, I just stop and forget about it.
Right.
Like oh, damn. I gotta think about it. We have to come back to me on that one. I
Yeah.
a lot of stuff I wasn't watching. I was watching this Korean joint, and it had like a family in there, and it was super annoying. And I was like, I can't do this right now, so I just
Put it
stopped. It was on
down.
Netflix.
Put
I was
it
like,
down.
I'll check it out later. I guess I don't know. I couldn't be bothered, man. I didn't go back to it.
I
So
was
like
doing
it happened.
Yeah, I was doing some research on this film. They say it cost the budget for this was $20,000, right? I mean, it makes sense because there was only really two locations, right? I mean,
20,000 or
oh,
20,000,000?
I'm sorry, 20 million, 20 million,
Okay, okay.
20 million
I was
dollars,
like,
right?
yo, yeah,
20,000 would
yeah.
have been amazing. This would have been an amazing film at
Yeah,
$20,000, right?
I would have a different rating for it for
Right, you know what I'm
20,000.
saying? $20
Yeah,
million
yeah.
dollars. It basically they were like on a conveyor belt and like, CGI and AI all the way around them. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
kinda what
this
it is.
joint was done in the studio and someone was like standing on a conveyor belt. It was like crazy, right? What is this?
Yeah.
You want to give a brief overview about this flick and then we can get into it?
So, basically, there's a, asteroid that hits the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and it melts the planet, although water comes down and destroys Korea, alright? It
Mm-hmm.
wrecks Korea, and, they're taking some scientists to a space station to develop or figure out a new AI model or
Mm-hmm.
whatever for it to change humanity and send them back down to Earth.
Right.
That's the overall premise.
Yeah.
And then so from our perspective, we see this mother and her annoying kid uh run around apartment building complex,
Mm-hmm.
but in actuality, she's on a space station running an algorithm. She chose to be a subject for the algorithm
Once she
to make
died,
it,
right.
yeah, before she died, to make it a model of her body,
Right.
and that's what it is.
Right.
It's you're in the Matrix.
Right.
You're watching the movie from the Matrix. That's what
Right.
it is.
So they like the entire planet is destroyed and like
For the
South
most part,
Korea
yeah,
South Korea is trying to figure out how can we reproduce humanity with synthetics and these memories that we kept from people who died, right? And
yeah,
so they
yeah,
created
yeah.
this simulation, right? And so we don't you don't know that. You don't
Yeah.
know that
Don't know.
until
You're
like
thinking it's happening right now when you start the movie. Yeah,
exactly. You don't know that. And the other thing you don't take into account are the numbers that are changing on her shirt. You don't take account of that because
that took me a while before I was
yeah,
like, "What the hell?"
exactly. Because you're trying to figure out what is this film about and you can't even here's the thing, right? I
Mm,
couldn't even get past I couldn't even think about what was this film about because the kid
mm.
in this film was so super annoying.
That kid was annoying. And it doesn't matter if it's the dub or the Korean version, they're both bad.
Yeah.
Because I checked, because I was like, okay, well, maybe the dub is bad and the other versions. No,
No.
that kid's annoying in that one too. So I was like, all right, let
Yeah.
me just hear English and then we'll just power through.
I don't
Yeah, it takes you a good 20, 30 minutes before you notice the numbers on her shirt.
mhm.
And you're like, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, is this a sci-fi thing? Then okay, this is interesting. and then immediately the wind was let out of me like, "Oh, this kinda sucks."
Yeah. You know,
This is trash.
it took me, excuse me, excuse me. I started watching this film 3 weeks
Mhm,
ago. No lie. I
mhm.
watched it and I was like, "Ooh, the annoying kid." I don't get these like films in that part of the world where they
Mhm.
always have to have like a screaming kid. If you look at like Japanese anime and South Korean anime, like
It's
with
the
the
same thing.
kids in it, there's always a screaming
It's the
kid,
same
right? You know?
yeah, super, super annoying.
Right.
Yeah,
Even
I
though
can't.
this kid may have superpowers, it's always a screaming kid, a screaming an annoying kid. I've never,
Mhm,
ever, ever in my entire life
mhm,
um saw a film where the screaming kid was so freaking annoying, dude. I was
mhm.
like I said, I started watching this 3 weeks ago, and I just finished it on Friday or Saturday, like Saturday morning. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kept I kept watching like 10 minutes of it, then I was like, this kid is so annoying, dude. Like,
Yeah,
what is it about that part of the world where when they create films,
they gotta
they
put
have
it in
to
there.
have a screaming kid?
Maybe there's people who are watching, they like the emotional connection about the kid, but, like, I was telling you offline, I was like, if that movie didn't have a kid, it would've been the same for me, like, it didn't matter.
Right.
But
Mhm.
the whole point of her thing, because like, it turns into when the kid disappears, it turns into an action movie. And like there's shootouts and all this craziness. I'm like,
Yeah.
that would have been fine.
Mhm.
I didn't need this yelling and screaming all the time and being pouting and stuff. I didn't need that. So I think it got better for that's what I'm saying. Like it had highs and lows. So it started off low. Once I figured simulation, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then it went back down, and I'm like, well, this is not going anywhere. What is this?
Mhm.
And then the space station and stuff was blowing up in the space. I was like, I can't. I listen. It was a good premise. It was a good idea. I think the follow through was garbage. It
Yeah.
was. I could care less.
Here's
I
the thing
honestly could
too.
care less.
Here's the other thing too. This is why this film was so confusing, so discombobulated from reality, because
Mhm,
if the world was destroyed by an asteroid, right? And now you
mhm,
have these sort of like spaceships and everything, these space stations in orbit, trying to figure out
mhm,
how can they recreate the Earth by populating it with synthetics.
mhm.
During this whole simulation, they had synthetics that were like murderers, killers. So you're thinking
That's
like,
another thing.
right, you're thinking like if you're trying to do something good, I mean, now you have the ability to do something good. You have the ability
Mhm,
to create synths where there's no killing, no stealing, anything like that. But you
mhm.
injected these sort of like murderous people. And it was a plot to like
I
steal something or something. It
yeah.
was just so stupid. And I was
I don't
just
know where
like,
they're
what's
going with
going
that.
on?
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. With the because that's what I'm saying. Like the idea was okay. The way they did it was trash. Like it could have the storyline because they never explained why they need the synthetics in the first place. Because like the ice caps melting would just be at the top of the planet. The bottom part, it got to the equator, you'd probably be okay.
Right.
It'd probably be fair enough on the
Mhm. Put a
equator.
snowsuit on,
Yes,
you'll be fine.
right? Yeah, you'd be probably all right. But I'm just like it. They didn't explain why you needed to repopulate the Earth with synthetics. They never went there. They
Yeah.
just said it and then moved on like it didn't matter. They just accepted what they're telling you right now and just go with it. So I didn't enjoy it. It was kind of slow and marauding,
Mhm.
especially going up the stairs. And then people just disappeared. I was like, "Where's all the people?"
Right.
Like,
Mhm. It
because
start out with a
the
bunch of
beginning of the
people.
movie, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of people,
Right.
it's
Mhm.
chaos, and I was like, "Oh, this could be wild. They gotta get past these people to get to the helicopter."
Mhm.
And then people just disappeared. There's like 2 people in the movie, and then the soldiers showed up, and I was like, okay." I they ran out of pay for the the extras. I don't know what happened there. Because like, at the higher levels, everyone would be slammed in those buildings, the apartments up there.
Right.
That would've made more sense. They just disappeared, and then the family showed up. I was like, it's just,
And what
yeah.
was the purpose of the pregnant woman?
I don't know. Somebody was like, "It would be cool if this was in there and then she had to walk past them." I guess. I don't know. It didn't make
I
any
mean,
sense.
I could think of a lot of cool stuff they could have put in this film, opposed to like a woman giving birth, like on just sitting on the ground. Here's the thing, though,
Yeah.
right? Here's the thing. I'm looking at this joint, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. One, get rid of the annoying kid. Let's start there. I'm gonna like what
We
I'm
sound
going
like
to do right
monsters right now, but I
right.
agree. Get rid of that
I'm
kid.
going to recreate this film for the directors
Mhm,
because it was
mhm,
so goofy. It was just dumb, right? Get
mhm.
rid of the annoying kid. There is absolutely no reason for a film like this to have a screaming, yelling, annoying, bratty
Oh,
kid in it throughout the whole flick, right?
the kids were like
So
3, 4, like
yeah, so get rid of the kid, right? Okay, one,
Yeah.
right? Two,
Mhm.
read the premise of the movie wasn't bad. Like the idea of it wasn't bad,
Yeah.
right? It was
Mhm.
just like, okay, the execution was bad. So what you have to do is one, you have to get rid of the annoying kid. Two, you have to introduce the space stations a lot sooner than you did, right?
Yeah, explain what's going on.
Right,
They didn't
exactly.
explain anything.
Yeah, you could have had like like in Star Wars, the first one where they had like the rolling text, they could have did
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that
this
in 19 in
Yeah.
3004, the earth was destroyed by, an asteroid. We are trying to rebuild it using synthetics, something
Mhm.
yo,
A
dude, it was
little
just like,
crawl.
come on.
Good crawl across the screen.
Yeah,
Give us
you
some
know what I'm
information.
saying?
It's like,
Like
he ain't
a
saying
news
nothing.
ticker or something, for real, right?
I mean, like, cause the thing that I hate watching movies and they gotta hold your hand, like, "Hey, this is what happened, everybody," and they remind you 5 minutes later, "This is what happened." Like, I
Right.
hate that. But they didn't tell you nothing. You had no idea what was going on.
And you said last week or the week before that one of the things that Ben Affleck was saying was that
Oh, yeah,
Netflix told
yeah.
him that every 20 minutes you have to like really explain what this movie
Explain
was
the
about.
plot.
They didn't do that here, or did they?
Yeah, they explain anything. They didn't say anything
Exactly.
about you didn't get like a forecast of the space station and what's going on,
No.
why is there so much water? You got none of that. I
Right.
think they did the guy who's rescuing her told her about the asteroid, but like that's like 20 minutes into the movie. Like
Right.
you don't know
And
what's
you only
happening.
heard it once, right? And then when they
Yeah.
flashed the space, like during one part of the movie, like maybe an hour, 45 minutes, an hour in, they just
Mhm.
flashed the space station, just like boom, that was it. And I was just like, what's that all about? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was just like, why are they like, what's going on here? Right. So
Mhm,
the entire plot, the entire execution needs to be done differently. Now, I was asking you
mhm,
offline if you took this plot the way it is, right, and you gave
mhm.
it to a different director, a different producer, who would that director producer be? I said Zack Snyder would kill it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I told you Christopher Nolan, he
Hmm.
could handle something like this because he
Hmm.
did the thing in the space movie.
Right.
So he did Interstellar. So like, he has that thing of the visuals and the flair, something super confusing
Hmm.
and like Tenet, whatever, that doesn't make any sense. You gotta watch it 5 times and like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Right.
This
Uh-huh.
is not a movie you watch 5 times.
Right. Hmm.
Everything you need to know, you've seen it the first time you get it. You get it
Right.
eventually. It's not
It's
that appealing.
super annoying. The
No,
kid.
there's no hidden message. There's no, "If only we did this to save humanity," and there's none of that. It's just straightforward. This chick's a simulation. The kid's a simulation. They're running this is the 20th they got to, like, 20 something thousand, 29,000 simulations they
21,000, yeah.
ran.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of simulations they ran.
21,417 or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it was I know it was
mhm,
in the 20s. I know that.
yeah,
And the kid just jumps off the roof, and then she jumps off the roof, and I'm like, "Well, alright." That was the end of the movie.
right.
They jumped into the water, like, "Okay,
This
alright."
joint was
I was so over it. I
uh,
put my popcorn down, I was like, "I'm done here." I
dude,
can't.
when I finished this film, I was like, I am so glad it took me 3 weeks to finish this film. I am so glad I'm done. And the CGI
Mhm,
and the AI was terrible. I mean, you have
mhm,
like New School, Mid Journey, Google VO, all this other stuff. Leonardo, and you mean to
mhm.
tell me this is like AI generated video content like 1.0? You know what I'm saying?
It looked like a video game, like, there's this sections from
Totally.
a video game, like, you're watching from the screen, and
Yeah.
there's boxes around, it was weird. I
Was there?
the effects were there, really.
Oh
I
no
don't
no
think
no
they
no
really
no
had it.
no. They
Outside the
really
space
did.
station, there wasn't really any special
Right.
effects.
Mhm.
That's how the water, yeah, special effects for that, but, like, it is as basic as you can
Water
get,
is
like, it's
easy to like generate, on like AI, CGI. Was there anything endearing, anything really interesting about this film for you?
No, because there wasn't like she's gotta save humanity for this reason or she's doing it to save the kid or whatever. Like it was just like I'm in a simulation this 20th time, 20,000th time. I'm in a simulation. I put the kid away somewhere. All right, the movie's done. Like that's what the movie was. There wasn't there was no motivation for her outside of, you know, the saving the kid or whatever. Like it didn't like they're trying to allude to her ex her husband or whatever had died in the car,
Mhm.
and then I think they replaced her kid with the android kid or whatever the thing is. I did motivation was weak sauce because they didn't go into it. They just showed you it and then they didn't explain it.
Mhm.
She's not she's not suffering for it. She wasn't sad about it. She's just like, I'm just go about my day, like
Mhm.
simulation time. Like not so saying like you didn't the emotional aspect wasn't part of this movie. So like
Yeah.
that part was missing. And then her motivation wasn't really part of the movie either. Like it wasn't a good they didn't draw it out in a way to make it interesting or make you care. Because once you figure out it's a simulation, the interest of the movie drops down the tube. Because you're
Yeah.
like, well, none of this matters. And it's
Right.
gonna start over again. Like, okay, whatever.
And
And that's the problem. They should have been for a reason at the end of the movie, and they didn't even
mhm.
do that.
In the simulations, right? Again, it's just like, okay, if you're trying to create a planet where
Mhm,
synths can live and they have the emotions of humans, right? You
mhm,
also have the technology to say, hey, you know what? We're not going to have crime. We're not going to have any of this stuff, right? I want to know,
mhm.
like, after 21,000 simulations, right? Why do you still have killers in the film trying to kill her?
What was the
What
point
was
of
that
that?
all about? Yeah, what was the point of that, you know?
I don't know. I don't know what her goal was. The goal,
Yeah.
okay, the goal was to get to the helicopter, I guess.
But what for? I
But
mean, the old boy was like, smashing like, straight Swiss cheese and people at the helicopter. He killed old boy.
I'm but I'm saying, like, they never made it clear what the motivation was so the simulation would be solved.
Mhm.
Was the simulate I guess the simulation was to not get into the helicopter and jump off the roof with the kid? Like, you could have done that from the beginning, like,
Yeah.
I understand. I don't get what that was. What was how they made that the goal was to jump off the roof. That
Yeah.
that that doesn't sound like a good goal.
And the
It's
other
kinda
the other thing is like, why at the almost at the end of the simulation, right? Why
mhm.
have the boy hidden in a like an armoire, a closet? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he's in the closet.
Right.
He was in the closet like R. Kelly,
That
man. Like,
that
it's
that
like
all of a sudden appeared on the roof of the like high-rise building.
on top of the roof.
How?
Man, I just think
Did like
if
the
it was
water
a
flood up there and then it floated up and like, placed itself
I
on the
don't
roof?
know. There's this garbage on the roof. I don't understand that either. Like
Yeah.
if it was in one of the apartments, I would be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's something. And they're chasing her to get to the apartment to get him and
Mhm.
get him up the roof. All right, fine. But they weren't doing that. The kid
Yeah.
was in the top of the roof. I'm like, okay.
And
Motivations were dumb, man. I
and then
just
you
seems
had
like
these like huge waves. I'm like, what's that for? What's the huge
I don't
like, 80 million like 80 million feet high waves? What's that all about?
I don't
Why?
know. Then the sun came out. Then the waves happened again. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed this is saying like it seemed like a good idea, and they need to talk to some scientists about what would happen if
Yeah, this is
the icebergs whatever melted. What would happen? What would that actually look like? Because they I don't think they knew.
no.
It doesn't seem making makes any sense what they were doing.
Was this a after school special or not really? It wasn't even a after school
No, there was
special.
no message. There was
Yeah.
what was the message? What was the
Yeah.
message of this movie? What was the story they're trying to tell
I
you?
don't like the Great
Do
Flood.
this for this. What
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, what's the reason they did this thing? They put you in the simulation. What was the reason? Because it's not clear,
Dude, I have
and
no
that's the problem
idea.
I have. There's no motivation. It's not clear what was going on, and at a certain point, you just stop caring.
Yeah. This movie failed in so many ways. It's not even funny.
Mhm.
Um, I'm surprised Netflix spent like 20 million on this joint. Like, why? Do you think?
Did they buy it from somebody?
I don't know, but before we get up out of here, do you think this film did great? Like, did well in South Korea?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think this is always a next Netflix movie. It feels like, oh, there's nothing on. Let's check out what's in South Korea. Okay,
Right,
this is interesting. Like
right,
that's what it
exactly.
was. That's honestly, it looks like someone's scrolling through Netflix and doom scroll, and they're like, oh, the flood. All right, I'll check that out. Like that's what it was. Cause yeah, it was
I
not
don't know.
good.
I don't know, man. We are talking about The Great Flood. This is available on Netflix. Keo, what are you going to rate The Great Flood?
I give it a 3.
Mm.
I like the premise. I like the
Hmm.
idea of it, and then I like the simulation aspect of it. I thought that was good too. But I'm the like we said, there's no point to it. Like it didn't seem like there's a good reason what was happening. And then at the end, when the space station, I think they launched the pod to go to Earth. How you repopulate the Earth? You only have one synth. Like what's happening here? I
like,
don't, I don't, whatever, man.
yeah, exactly. Man, listen, I'm going to give this joint. I was thinking, like, did Cosmic Sin does
It's
this joint have
cosmic
a run?
level.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I would say it's up there with
It's
cosmic
up there with
sin for
Cosmic
sure.
Sin. I'm gonna give it a 2, because it was just dumb. It took me 3 weeks to watch. I
Mhm,
don't understand films, serious films
mhm.
with annoying screaming kids. I don't get that.
You can't
I don't
do
get
it.
that for real. One of the, you and like everyone else I know who plays Halo, they were like, "Oh, Halo is it." And then we watch the series, and you have Quan, the annoying girl, and I'm just like, is this the
Mm-mm.
way the game is? Or what? You know what I'm saying? It's
No,
just that's what I'm
absolutely
saying.
not.
You know, we
Absolutely not,
don't
yeah.
need annoying screaming kids in serious films because when
Mhm.
you have this annoying kid knocked the rating of this film down by like 6 or 7 for
A
real,
lot, a lot.
for real.
Absolutely, a lot.
For
Yeah.
real. Again, it took me 3 weeks to finish this joint, and it was only an hour and 55 minutes long.
Mhm.
3 weeks it took me, for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Keo, I'm sorry because you watched it in one sitting.
I powered through, man.
Yeah, so
Right after sent you a text, I was like, "Imma go through this."
it's crazy,
Ah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
We are talking about The Great Flood. It's available on Netflix. Go check it out if you want to. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of Flix and Giggles. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.